Can you hear me now? Oh, yep. It looks like we got some sound. Check you guys out. No sound, says Carlos. Well, hey, Keith. Hey, Carlos. That's so funny. I was just talking to you guys. And I was like, what's... I appreciate that, Keith, letting me know. Yeah, just like all technology, one little thing just kind of changes stuff. So, appreciate that. Solid job. Yep, you guys are just sliding on in. Good to see you this morning. Chris is with us. A hug. I don't think that ever gets old for me. Mr. Grateful's in here. So, always good. All right, well, I did want to say one. Well, anyways. Here, I'll write it into this chat. What day is it today? Does anyone know what day it is today? Whoa, Mr. Grateful Soul coming out strong on the answer. Look at that, man. Another day in paradise. Perfect, Chris. Yes. Perfect. Yes. Carlos, very good. All right, so congratulations. You just took your vitamin G. Vitamin G. I really want us to focus, especially on Friday, about our vitamin G. And vitamin G is simply just being grateful. So, very grateful that y'all are with us. Grateful for the audio fix. That was easy. And so now as we go into the markets, keep that line of thinking. Just stay grateful. If you see a trade, feel free. Put it through your filter. Put it through your decision matrix. And then if it's high quality, place the trade. Okay. If you don't see anything today, completely fine. I'm going to be more rigid, like I was telling you guys yesterday in coaching, more rigid on those rules, more focused on just trading and not, trying to have fun in front of you guys, developing a stream, whatever. That'll come. Everything is a little bit new when it comes to streaming, but the focus is the trading and any teaching that we can provide. So, it's open to everyone. If you have a question, feel free to write in the chat. May not get to it for a little bit, but when we circle back to checking, we'll get that to you. So, another day in paradise. Yeah, really feeling that out. Okay, Carlos, gotcha, man. Okay, so we're gonna start doing some homework. So whatever market you're looking at right now, whatever that is, start getting your homework done. If you are a newcomer, then that means you're going through your pre-market analysis, or it would just be just like stretching prior to going and working out. Don't want to go in cold. So whatever you're trading, like Keith, I know you're looking at the Dow. So go ahead and get those key markers there using your multiple time frame analysis. So when the market does or can get there today, you can make the right decision. All right. Now, just free advice for everyone or a recommendation. What is the trend? That's going to be the key concept here. What's the trend? And then can I get along with it? I always want to be, to the best of my ability, trading with that macro trend. So I realized on Wednesday that a few things were off when I went back and studied. And that was really the key answer. What was that macro trend at that time that you were placing those intraday trades? So again, no one's immune to making a few mistakes. You know, that's how you learn, and you just keep moving forward. And Mr. Grateful Soul, I'll tell you right now, it's all about, and everyone here knows this if you've been a pit trader for a while, it's all about how much you lose when you're wrong and then how much you earn when you are correct. And that's what keeps that account moving forward. So today is Friday. Just gonna pump the brakes one more time here and say, if you are up points, you know, because that's how we categorize ourselves, like how many points are we collecting? And if you have a nice juicy point total, then make sure that you're playing good defense and just waiting patiently for that high probability trade. Right? That's really what you're going to see me focus on. Today might be a little bit more boring, but it is what it is. We can only take what the market is going to give us or provide to us. So I really want to focus on that provision being in another day. It is another day in paradise, being grateful, and just going to take it nice and easy. Seriously, very nice and easy. And if you want to learn more about that, you can apply here at PitTrader and see if you're a good fit. But like I always want to do, I want to check Forex Factory just to see if there's any economic, news out there that could really, really cause me an issue. Yesterday we had some PPI numbers come out at 8:30, and if you go back to 8:30 on the indexes, you'll see what I like to call a death wick or a death spike. You'll see that volatility. Also, you'll see the volatility of the 8:30 core CPI. So, if you're placing trades in the pre-market, most likely you just got ripped apart right there. And the market's not even open, like regular trading hours. We're not even there. So, forexfactory.com is a good one to go to. As you guys know, I enjoy that. And then I'll slide over to Yahoo Finance. There we are. Now, this for you could be anything, okay? It could be Market Watch. It could be CNBC. Literally, it could be anything. And I'm only looking for high impact news headlines, okay? That's all I'm looking at. I also might be looking at the overall markets, okay? Like the VIX is at 14. And the Russell, you can just kind of see was negative, but right here before the market opened, it went green. So this is actually setting up for some sell short trades off the morning. But the question is going to be is, what is that macro trend telling us? And the macro trend for all us pit traders, that's going to be your star chart. Really, I really want you to kind of focus on what's the star chart saying. I recognize that Asia is green and Europe is red. So that's really not playing so well into the trading day for today. So immediately, Chris, Keith, Mr. Grateful Soul, Luis, Carlos, Anthony, also known as A-Hug, never gets old. Immediately, I'm recognizing that it most likely is going to be more of an inside day. And so I need to start thinking and trading accordingly to an inside day. And inside days aren't the best of the trading days out there, meaning it's not going to be a trending day. We don't know that 100%, so we're still open, right, to the possibility. And but I am aware of the market that we're walking into. Okay, so really going to be keywords now, Mr. Grateful Soul, if you want to write this down. Rigid in your rules and flexible in your expectation. Gonna stay flexible today, but I'm gonna be very rigid. If I don't see a textbook flagship set up, I'm not gonna place a trade. And Keith, that's how we always gotta do stuff. Not just trading to trade, but textbook. That's what we're looking for. And congratulations to Carlos yesterday and Chris. Oh my goodness. You guys, killing that textbook. I mean, literally killing that textbook trade. I think Carlos got over 20 something points on this chart right here, MES. Every point's worth $5 and didn't have to risk that much. And boom, just collecting those points. So congratulations to him and Chris and Keith. Your time is exactly coming here. It's coming. So also this morning, prior to trading, you should have gone through your morning mechanism to get your mind centered on your trading, okay? And that would have simply have been going back through your trades this morning, reviewing, going over, you might call it your game film. We're reviewing not only our losers, but also our winners. So you reviewed your winners this morning. You saw that, yes, it's possible you can do it. But then also, right before we begin trading today, we went through our losers and we felt the impact of, making silly mistakes, being wrong, trying to break up the process, maybe not even listening to the process, stuff like that. And so before we begin diving into a live trading market, our mind is now leaving that torturous losing trade mind frame. So that's going to linger with you a little bit. That's lingering with you simply to keep you focused on what a winning trade looks like. Okay, what a winning trade looks like. So a little long in the tooth there, but make sure that you are getting your homework completed now, okay? Make sure you are getting your homework completed. And then we'll start up here. So the Dow Jones is negative, just so that we're aware of that. This morning, I'm kind of favoring some sell shorts. Okay. Let me just kind of get this on here for a second. So I'm just building out the Globex range here for us. If I'm going to be more focused on this. So I'm just drawing our supply and demand areas just to give me an idea. We could definitely run into a trap here when it comes to some buyers popping up. The question is, if we break that low right there, if we break that low, what is there? So if we break that low, we pretty much have all this range down here to go into. I just went to a 5-minute chart because I'm looking into the bacterial DNA of if there's any problems right in this area. And of course, there's something lingering sitting right here that I couldn't see on a 30-minute chart. So, I got to get that in there. Okay. So, all right, that's done. So these are all the areas. If the market sells off this morning and comes in here. It can even break it, okay? And then kind of stop, turn, and go back up. So, you know, I just need to figure out which way is the macro trend. Can I get a ride? And then, you know, follow it along. Right? And so if that happens and then breaks, then you can, remember it's an inside day-ish. You can expect it to come back here. So this is setting up for more like if you were going to go long, right? It's more setting up for a confirmation idea down in this area. So 2 minutes to the market open. And keep it nice and easy. If we do sell off and have a strong sell off, the market can go all the way to 53,568. Okay. So those are your key points for the Dow. Key points, yep. So I'm just going to leave that there for us. Keith, we were talking about that bottom left chart. It's a little bit larger in its nature. It's just not looking so good this morning. Just not looking so good this morning, okay? Because we're really caught in it. And right now, this exact second, it's given us actually the opportunity to go up, and then to go down, okay? So if you see the market rally this morning, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Let it rally up into that supply area. And at least for the Dow Jones, the Dow is more of a seller's delight. Okay, so we just opened. Okay. All right, so we're bouncing into like a 3-hour like demand-ish area, which is this right there. All right, so let's see, did it actually hit the line? 53.88 it looks like. Is that right? No, excuse me, 53.7577, keyword 57. So it actually misses that line just by 1 tick right there. 1 tick. Am I upset with that? No, I'm not upset. Not upset. I'm actually very proud, very happy with it. Why do I say that? Well, because I know eventually, see it misses just by, I know eventually that it will get hit, it will get filled, and when it gets hit or filled on that time, I'll be there. It's just being able now to repeat a process over and over and over again. So the key thing is that we had it drawn, we knew about it, and you know what? It just missed us by a little bit. But it's doing what we had planned it out to do. So again, I'm okay with that. Makes me happy. I just pat myself on the back. If I don't place a trade today, I consider that a little victory. I'm not even thinking about earning money. I'm literally only thinking about right now, am I following my rules? The rules that I have, am I following them to the best of my ability? That's the key function I'm looking at right now. Okay. It's all right. Just let the market develop as it will. So take it nice and easy. Nothing fancy. This little rally is rallying up into the gap fill. Okay. Hmm. So just be you just want to be patient. Just let the market develop, okay? Might have to be patient to 10:30. Think about Carlos's trade from yesterday. All right? So Carlos's trade from yesterday didn't really develop, just talking out loud, until about 10:30. 10. So, hey, we might have to just wait. Just wait. You're just waiting for the market to develop, okay? The gap fill is going to 919, 951. So we're literally almost there, 919, 951. But we are in a sideways market for the Dow. Sideways going down-ish, down-ish. I'm definitely looking at that 3-hour bottom left chart, Keith. And I'm recognizing that supply zone that's sitting overhead. So if I am thinking about going short, I'm kind of thinking about going short in that area there, okay? Just using the foundations to help me get an idea for a trade. That's pretty cool. Pretty neat. So sometimes Fridays can be a little topsy-turvy, you might say, a little weird, you might even say, okay? Just because it is a Friday. So the S&P, macro trend is upward. And the S&P just made another all-time high. So the S&P is selling off right now this morning. That's fine. I'm going to let it develop. If I'm going to trade the S&P, I'm going to look to trade that more long. So we gotta be a little bit flexible here. We gotta be flexible. It's all about what what market you're looking to trade. Now, here's another thing. If the S&P, like if you go back and look, because I'm looking at it right now, if you go back and look on the 11th, 12th, 13th, and today's the 14th, we've rallied up. So if you've rallied up and you've been holding this position for over the past few days, you've been long. The only way to change your longs into real cash or real capital is to sell off, is to sell it. So we are seeing a little bit of a sell-off this morning in the S&P, but that's not like a real bear market. That most likely is just people taking some profits. Okay, so just kind of be aware of that. Again, we're just letting the market develop this morning. Just let it develop. Hmm. Yeah, when markets go up, especially like all-time highs, remember the market can do whatever it wants to do whenever it wants to do it, and we need to be respectful of that. So going to all-time highs is not a, I'm talking about the S&P. Going to all-time highs is not a like, hey, let's go short. It's more a going to all-time highs isn't like, hey, let's go short. It's more a indication that there's a lot of bulls, a lot of people that want to buy. Okay. I'm letting this market develop. So this is really that sideways structure. We have a beautiful doji. Yes, there was a trade on the 1 minute, but remember I said I'll be rigid in my rules, and you guys already know I don't like 1 minute, so just stay away from it. The 5 minute on the S&P is developing a trade a little bit later to get long, and especially if this market is up trending on the S&P, I want to go with that. Okay, I want to go with that. The weird thing is that the Dow is acting incorrectly. That's the really weird thing. So there was a little selling opportunity here on the Dow, but now it's changing. It's changing itself. It looks like that's a doji. Get ready. I'm going to do something. And it looks like it wants to go back up. However, the go back up area is actually sitting right in here, drop base rally. So we really, if you look at the market open, like literally just right here, Keith, I'm kind of doing this for you. This is more of a, sideways, but the bias is going upward, okay, Keith? So we're getting higher lows. Now, the problem, Keith, with all that is the macro trend for the Dow is actually sideways downward, okay? So just kind of wait. You want to wait a little bit more. You got to wait a little bit more. If you are looking for like a trade that might be developing this morning, it's probably going to be on the S&P. Okay. The S&P is relatively the strongest. There's like a little 5 minute opportunity here. let's see here, 22, 2 points.
Order filled.
I'm going to go long that. Just 2 points on the S&P. And let's see here. So the only dangerous thing about this trade in itself is that we got this overhead supply, okay? But remember, the macro trend is going, you know, which way? It's going up, but we got this little, what would you call it? We got this little buffering area, okay? So I didn't really want to go into the S&Ps and like show them what I'm made of this morning. I more was just trying to be a little bit cautious, but because we have this overhead, if we can get here, you guys watch. If we can get a strong close, and the only reason I'm going to it is because it's 9:45, so 15-minute chart makes sense. We can get a strong close right here. I think we're on to something. Okay, I think we're on to something. Really, gonna check. Oh, we'll see. That's a problem too, right there. So, one or two things. I'm not getting greedy, but really the target is 78.50. I gotta really think to myself for a second, like, what is the ATR here? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make that right there the target, 78.40, but in actuality, it's more 78.50. But let me figure out the ATR, and then we can go from there. Okay. So I'm moving it to 78.40 because this is now the all-time highs. We go to the daily chart. You can see that the structure of the market did break out. Let me just pop this up. You know, we did break out to the upside. I'm just playing the probability that it can keep going. That's all. Now, how far does it go in a day? You know, that's an interesting question. And let's be honorable that it is Friday. Okay. It's blinking at me. All right. Let's turn that off. We'll just do it the old way. Okay, so the ATR here is 86. I'm going to think to myself, we're not going to be a hero and capture all of that. So it's really more like 43. And if the open is at 7825, then I'm just thinking out loud, you know, what if we go up? Okay. So that kind of brings it around like 68. 68. So like for today, it's like 60 area right up in here. You know, it's definitely doable. Right? Now, let's just look. Let's go back to 15 minutes. Yeah. So we do have a nice strong close right here, but again, we ran into this overhead supply-ish area. So most could definitely come down and get knocked out here. All right. So that's kind of what's going on right now. If that happens, that's fine. Okay. Just trying to follow my process and, you know, we'll just readjust. We'll just readjust. One nice thing that we do have here on the 5 minutes that could help us is that we do have that drop base rally that's sitting right there, you know, representing those buyers. But we'll see. There's also, and I put this on for Keith, the 200 that's sitting at or near it. So, you know, that's trying to provide us some strength. But right now, the market right here is going sideways. You know, it's a nice chop. So we're trying to not get in that chop. We're trying to trade outside of it. And we just got to follow the process here. That's it. It's just process oriented. Whether it works or it doesn't, number one thing, process. Okay. So the odds are, yeah, we could go higher, but we might have the timing off, Keith. We might have the timing off. So if that's the case, that's all right. And we'll just come back and kick butt and take names a little bit later. Okay? Just got to let that market develop. So as we're letting that market develop, let's look. It came back over here. You already know where I'm headed. Go with FinViz. So this market this morning, you know, just a lot of wicks. A lot of wicks. Out of all of them, the Russell says it wants to go higher. That's funny. So, hey, we're just trying to trade outside of this sideways area. And if we are wrong, then more than happy to get stopped out for a little bit. And we'll readjust. We're just going to allow the market to set itself up. That's all. So, just trying to highlight for you guys the nature of the market right here. Okay. Just looking back at the chat, is that making sense for anybody? Okay, good, Anthony. Now, if this does get broken, I mean, again, it's just chopping around. Remember, the macro trend is up. You would want to retake this stance. Let me jump to a 10-minute, see if we can't get easier. Maybe there's something right here, but I don't like that just because of the way it looks or the structure of it. Instead, I'm actually more down in this area. Okay. Somewhere down here. Now, I don't want that to happen. I'm watching it out. Good, Anthony. I don't want this to happen. But it could happen. I mean, it's really choppy this morning. Really choppy. In some ways, hey, we're at all-time highs, you know? If this thing can close, oh my goodness. If we can close, ladies and gentlemen, if this 30-minute candle can close correctly, I think today being a Friday, I think we could make, yet again, a new all-time high. So I'm already put our target up there. And now, as we get to this blue line, okay, there you go, go green. As as we get to this blue line, right? That's all-time highs. That literally is the all-time high. I mean, check your 401k right now. So cheer this thing on with grace and personality. But just remember, it just all comes back to a process. That's all it is, okay? Whether you get stopped out or you earn, just simply, hey, did I follow my rules? And if the answer is yes, then pat yourself on the back, even if you take a loss. So remember, we're not a trader. Type into the chat if you know what you are. If someone asks you, hey, what do? You would reply to them, hey, I'm a professional. Whoa, Mr. Grateful Soul. Now that is very interesting. See, I'm not familiar with Mr. Grateful Soul. I don't know actually who that is, but for him to answer that correctly, you now jump on my radar. So I don't think that's Luis, because Luis is right below you. Luis, look at you. Luis, you wild animal, you, Luis. And thank you to Luis, who's in our foundation. Oh, Eli. Thank you, Eli. I love you so much. Luis is more in our foundations program, and we think very highly of him. And it's always great to be here with us. And appreciate you, Luis, for the comments that you've left on the YouTubes. And, you know, we'll have our own little private conversation in the comments. So, very, very good. So, great. Man, Eli is in the house. All right. That's exciting. Yeah, I'm a professional risk manager, first and foremost. Okay. So, no problem. Very good. You guys are doing great. No. Hey, if this continues on and like really just stays like super choppy, okay? Now you have to ask yourself at some point, do I even want to participate in that? All right. I'd rather be trading or spending my time trading on a trending market. But we already knew that we would run into some of these problems this morning. Nice job, Keith. So, congratulations to the Dow for rallying. S&P wants to rally, and the Nasdaq. Can this happy family, can they all just on a Friday come together at the dinner table and have a wonderful conversation? I hope so. I'm believing in it. But you can just see this morning how sideways it really is. And we'll go from there. Great job, Keith, on that. Solid. Very solid, Keith. Notice how Keith waited for someone else to answer, and then he came in a little bit later. Sorry, Keith, I had to throw that in there. Well done. Well done. Alrighty. Well, let's see. Let's see what's going on. Man, we are just chopping around. So that in 4 minutes here, in 4 minutes, we're really gonna have a idea, a clarification of if we're working correctly. That first 30 minutes of a trading day is very unique and can really help us understand if what side of the market we're on. And if you are on the wrong side of the market, then it's a good idea to readjust. Readjust, all right? Go to a 1 minute chart. I just kind of think it's always so like wild as we get closer to these whole numbers, like these candle closes and 5-minute durations, right? Very significant. So the 10 a.m., very significant. So you can see the sellers are not trying to have a strong close here at 10 a.m. I just popped it onto the 1 minute so you can kind of see, like right here. I mean, if you're looking at your clocks, it's 9:57, you know, and you can kind of see how the market is. Wow. This is one reason I don't like looking at the 1 minute chart, because it's always moving. And a good, it's always moving. And Luis, so I'm kind of talking out for you, but it's always moving. And you might get the idea that I'm supposed to be doing something, right? So don't want those ideas to appear. Here's a 5-minute chart, and you can really see just absolutely how sideways that is. 10-minute chart, so we're reducing candles, getting clarity, right? 10-minute chart is more towards the sellers at this moment. Okay. 15-minute chart, watch, it's going to be up. Watch. Look at that. On the 15-minute chart, it's up. That in itself is a major distinction of sideways, chop and slop, terribleness. So really, 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 even if we get stopped out on this, we're going to stop, wait, let the market develop, and then come back with cool heads. We might have to wait all the way till 10:30 for the markets to develop. It might even be 11, might be 12 noon, but you know what? I'm open to those opportunities, but I'm going to be rigid, Eli, and following my process. Not about this, not about that, Luis. Hey, what's my process say, and am I following it? And of course, we always want to be trading in the direction of that macro trend. So that's the 15 minute there. And then on the 2 minutes, 2 minutes being nice to us, we have a nice little demand. But again, we're running into problems here. So let's just see how this thing closes, like I've been saying, on that 30-minute. And, you know, we want that to be closing correct. Okay, so it did just close. And so we do have that indication. If we have the follow through now, then we'll be good to go. A lot of the time, these market makers want to go stop hunting, even though the market will go higher. They might want to go stop hunting, and if that happens, again, just readjust and stick with your process there. That's all. Don't really like having to be in a trade and chopped up. You know, we want to be in a trade, and I mean, seriously, I mean, I'm sure I want to be in a trade and up here. So let me just jump around for a second. Just gonna go look at the well, this is the ES, so nothing has changed there. Look at the NQ for a moment. You know, the NQ is giving us indecision. Okay, what time is this? 10 a.m. So look at this. Yesterday at 10 a.m., it was a big green candle. You know, why can't we be nice and big and green today? Well, they're having their own problems. Dow Jones. Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful, beautiful 10 a.m. candle. We're going to hopefully encourage that to rally. And then, oh, definitely for the Dow, just be aware of 54,100 up here. Okay. Because you should, on the Dow Jones, you should break through this mess at 54 even. You should break through it. The question is, does it have enough steam to get the 54,100? And if it doesn't, you know, just manage that. And the Russell is acting very friendly, you know, as it's, you know, going up. But yet again, it has its own little problems sitting right here. So we are pretty much trapped between different markets. So, hey, if you are in a trade, You just have to let it ride out now. Okay. At this time, if you want to step away and get like a little water break, you definitely can. Dow Jones, I know it's going down right now. Just talking out there because Anthony said he was in it. You do have that demand sitting below. It's pretty not like the best, but it is there. Only weird thing I want to kind of like put out there and note is that the Dow's kind of scrunched. I mean, it's not like a runaway market versus like the S&P has been rallying for a while now. You can see that like a little bit more on the daily chart. Just kind of seeing how scrunched it is. Yeah, just trying to really wait for high probability trades. That's literally it. We're just waiting. It's a fun waiting game, you know? Play the game with yourself. How long can I wait? Hmm. Well, the Russell continues to rally. That's fun. You can break it down to a 10-minute. Oh my goodness, Keith, if I can grab your attention just for a second. This is just absolutely disgusting. That is just terrible. And I'm using the Russell for a example. So that death wick right there, you know, depending on your entry type, that could have got you in, you know, and then stopped out, and then we're all the way up here. So gotta be aware of these things. But that doesn't mean you got anything wrong. Okay? Doesn't mean you got anything wrong. Let me jump over to the Dow. It just means the timing's off for the market that you're trading. So on the 10-minute, you can see that we've bumped into that 200. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, you got demand sitting lower. The market's breathing this morning. And also on the Dow, you actually have that. Oh man, that's actually why I left the Dow Jones this morning, is when this like happened, didn't like it. Didn't like it. So I went over to the ES. And this did have that, but it was in a textbook play. It was in a textbook play that's talked about in the flagship method. So that's why I allowed myself to go long with the macro trend. Currently, right now, we're up a few points, you know. I'm really, really wondering if we're going to even get here. If we're even going to get there. Just going to make notations here. Here's a little trick I like to do. You guys want those high quality tricks, don't you? Okay, and everyone wrote into the chat, yeah, Paul, yeah, tell us those high quality tricks. All right, so this is what you do. Let me just make it larger for the stream. Actually, I don't like how that looks. So. There you go. What you do is if you want the market to get somewhere and cross the line, keyword was cross. All you do is you just come in here and you dash it. Okay? Those dashes right there, that allows the market to, break through it. Instead of it being a solid brick wall, now I have a nice opening right here for the price to go through. And that's the secret. There you go. Now you got it. So this pink line right here, that just denotes all-time highs. And we do have this supply area sitting right there. So we are up 5 points here. Definitely needed to be up more points by this time. But again, it's what the market's providing us this morning. Okay. Keith. Oh, Keith, you like that? Okay. Nice. And Carlos, nice and easy. We're just going with the macro trend this morning, okay? To the best of our ability. We're trying to play the all-time high if we can get there. Dashes equals psychological mind control. Chris, you figured it out. Yeah, you know what that gets? That gets this right here. Or maybe even this right here. Hang on. This is it. There you go. We're a real cowboy. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, if you want the market to break through somewhere, make sure you dash your lines. Very important. Very important. And look, the market has rallied up. It's run into this congestion. That's what I would call it. It's congested. We're very sideways today. Yeah, that's what it is. I have my stop right there. I'm leaving it alone. I have a 10-minute demand area for support. And why can't we, right? We've been rallying. Like, think to yourself, why can't we get to this high right here? That's the Globex high that we have right now, okay? 78.32. I mean, for the bears, they're selling up here. They don't want the market to get up there. Why don't they want the market to get up there? I'll answer it, but I mean, you might know the answer as well. They don't want the market to get up here because their stops are sitting right here. It's like clear as day. So I would really think that we'll make a good push to get up here. I really do. And if we start hitting these stops, those stop orders are buy orders, okay? And then that could definitely propel the market, higher. Now, if we get to here, 38.50, then we'll see some turmoil. And so there may not be, we may not get up here. I mean, that may not happen, okay? So I'm just having it up there just for the what if principle, but I'm definitely managing this trade, just moving my, I'm gonna move my stop. I'm cool, calm, and collected, okay? I like to use the word collected there as well. Collected in our emotions, because some of you have the shaky hand sometimes when you get into a trade. We have to learn to follow our process. What's the postal code? Rain, sleet, shine, earthquake. Disaster. You're getting your mail. It's our creed. Same thing here. Hey, it's nice to be in a trade if it's a high probability trade, and my job is now to sit in it, whether I want to or not. That's just it. Okay. On a 10-minute, we would love to have a strong close. You know, you see, like, notice my terminology. You're actually hearing my subconscious mind. Like, I would like to have a strong close, but I don't have to have a strong close. I would like it to appear. You know, I would like the market to hit my target, but it doesn't have to hit my target. Anything can happen. And my job here is to manage all that because I'm a risk manager. And right now, the risk manager says, hey, we're going higher. That's what it says. Use your multiple time frame analysis to, backtrack and double check yourself that you are thinking correctly. And as long as you can recognize the macro trend, I'm always going to say you're thinking correctly. Your timing might be off. That's okay because you're a risk manager. That's it. Now, if we continually sit here, right? If we continually sit here and just buffer, right? That's really not a good sign for like this trade. Yeah, think about it. If there's a commitment to do something, then it's going to do it. But if there's not a commitment, then it's just going to think about it. And like I say to you guys, I don't want the market thinking. I want it to be doing. So it should not be thinking. We could be building right here, just kind of looking at it, rallying, building for the next rally. But I don't know that. I don't know that. I want to be open to the possibility, but again, I don't know that. So, just going to leave that there. This is all talked about in our foundations. Well, foundations. And then also strongly in the flagship. Okay. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the commentary, the thinking patterns, the process orientation here. Oh, that's not too good. Yeah, so that 15-minute chart is just, again, sideways chopping. 10-minute chart, oh man, sideways chopping. I mean, Keith, if you see something like this today, you really gotta wait. Really gotta wait. Gotta wait. So if we get knocked out here, completely fine. Just gonna wait a little bit later. Now, if you don't have that time to do it, to wait, that's okay as well. It is a Friday, so a lot of us have a lot to get done on a Friday. I'm just gonna reach out to Anthony if he wants to type in. I know he's focused, but getting chopped up a little bit out there, I would imagine, on the Dow Jones. The Russell is acting a little bit weird, to tell you the truth, everybody. So the Russell yesterday just made all-time highs, and yet today it's rallying. That's really odd. So the Russell makes up the smaller opportunities, and right now those small mid cap stocks are strongly rallying, while the S&P is not. That's very peculiar, I would say. Oops. I'm thinking about a sell short trade on the Russell. As long as I can get it at the price I want, it might be good to go.
Order filled.
Nope. We just got filled on S&P. So that means we got stopped out. Now, one reason not to go short on the Russell here is because it's the strongest one. The Dow is very sideways at this moment. This is very, very peculiar, I would say. So the S&P is coming into like a 30-minute demand area. I'm gonna let that play itself out and see. I'll see if I can't catch the S&P back to the upside. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so yep, got hit right there, went through the chop, hit the sellers, and it came down. But this again, you know, is actually setting up again for opportunity to go back up. So if we can just sell off, a little bit into here and get down here, talk ball. I'd really like that for the opportunity to go back up with it. That's what I would do. Well, that's what I'm looking at. We've got a lot of indecision up here at the top. A lot of sideways mess right here. The S&P dropping into, now the S&P is coming into a just so you guys are aware, a 30-minute area, a 30-minute demand area. It's coming into it. And just let it hit, go through. Maybe it'll go through. And when it turns, then that would be your opportunity to go long. See, this is setting up for a really nice long trade right here. Okay. I'm thinking, I'm trying to get short the Russell, but I can't yet. Even though the Russell is up. Looking for a sell short opportunity on it. And then I'm going to try to time that up with getting back long on the S&P. Okay. So meaning like I'm going to do a quick sell short on the Russell, and then when the Russell also changes stance and goes long, I'm going to really hope that I'm long the S&P. Then that's pretty much going to be it for like my trading session here. Because I don't want to like sit and continually get chopped up. That's all. If the market's not going to give it to me, I'm not going to, chase it. It's either there or it's not. Wow, the Russell keeps going up. Just timing. Just timing. Alright, looks like the ES is starting to make its move here. Alright, so it's definitely bumped into that 30-minute demand area. I'm watching it. So here's that 30-minute demand area right there. It's definitely just bumped into it. Right? Now, if it wants to go up, we're more than happy to take it up. But we've definitely got some controversy here. It's okay if it goes deeper in here, okay? Okay to go deeper. It's even better. It'd be better for a nice bounce out. For a nice bounce out. And as the S&P comes down deeper, now it's really pushing, right? As it comes down deeper, this gives us an opportunity to get long for later in the day. Oh.
Order filled.
So I'm trying to play a little short squeeze here on the Russell. Okay. I wanted to get in at 68, which I did. And Carlos, I'm talking to you on that. And then we're just a little bit above where I want to be. Okay. So we're going to see if this is going to work itself out. I'm really looking for the S&P to pull it down, but I did pop into here. And yes, I am aware that the Russell is rallying and it's strong on its rally. Just an opportunity that we had. See, right? This little pull down needs to pull it down. Oops, sorry about that. S&P 3-minute to minute. Yes, Chris. Yep. So, man, if I can get this fall through here, we're gonna be happy. But we'll see. All right, so the ES looks like it wants to go to that 3-hour area, 7,800. The NQ definitely is. The NQ is not happy today. Definitely could go to 30,000 even. Definitely. The YM here for Anthony, that was a really pretty choppy, just like I went through on the ES. Oh man, I gotta stretch. Oh, make sure you do get up and walk if you need to. Okay. Okay, so we're looking to get long the S&P. All right, we got knocked on the Russell, and that was me. counter trend, but we really are looking to get long the S&P here. What's 4 from 3?
Order filled.
Okay, so we're going to try to go long S&P here. Mm. The positives of this long idea is that it's bouncing off of 30-minute demand, which we know. Okay. We know the macro trend is up, but it's got some room to the downside. That's kind of the negative here. We really are looking for the market to pull it up, right? For all we know, today is going to be, you know, like a sideways day kind of thing. For all we know, it's not going to make new all-time highs. Like that high is going to stay protected. So we're trying to go with that long trade. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, there is, good indication that this is a good trade, but we don't know until it closes. Because it's about to be 10:45, we could look to the 15-minute chart. We really don't want this to close with indecision. All right, well, it's not the best of closes. The good news is this is after 10:30, so we had that sell off. And if the market chooses to rally, then we're a-okay. So we're looking for that right there. And Keith, our timing might be off here, right? Like just trying to capture that. Now, if this one goes south on us, then that's going to be it for the trading day on a Friday. Took I took 2 high probability trades. The ES was long. Okay, it was working, but then it jostled out. Minor counter trend trade on the Russell, which didn't work out. All right, that was me, just being me. But we need the S&P to rally us. I'm feeling strong in the S&P because the macro trend is up. That's why. So with this setup that we have, and just kind of jump back to it, I'm just playing the probabilities that we go higher. That's it. Maybe we don't make all-time highs. I want to try to manage that. But again, just being open to the possibility. That's all. Okay? A lot of sideways junk right there. I mean, that's terrible. I mean, that's terrifying. That's terrible. Terrible. But believe in your macro trend. That's the key. If we can get some follow through with these other people that don't want to play nice today, So just remember Carlos from yesterday, right? Carlos had a amazing psychedelic, just sexual in its nature trade. Beautiful trade. And yet again, that's what we're trying to play here. Only time will tell. Okay? Only time will tell. So depending on what you're doing, you know, again, just follow your process. Okay. So this was that 30-minute that it bounced into. So I was trying to play that confirmation. That's foundations, right? And then I used flagship to enter in it, which is more advanced. So currently we're just going, oh my goodness, sideways here. But if you're going to buy something, you know, you want to buy it at a lower price. And then the only other thing I'm kind of like monitoring right now is like this area right there. And this is the all-time high up there. So, hey, if this is right, I'm gonna go ahead and dash this line. Have a little bit of fun. And I'm just putting a marker on my charts for that right there. You know, overall, the, you know, the daily chart, and that's what we're dealing with. So the macro trend is up. We're below its open, and, you know, it's trading back into this big green bar, which, you know, there is demand in here. So we're just hoping that, hey, this is the demand area, and we rally. On the 5-minute, we see Carlos's favorite pattern, because he's a wild animal. And you know, I'm going to jump back to the 5 in just a second, but on the 10-minute, we do have those indications of buying. Again, we do see the demand sitting below, and so now we're just kind of like trapped, if you will. On the 30-minute, just showing you the pictures. On the 30-minute, this is the key here on that 30-minute. That 30-minute can close correctly, and then potentially we could get back to 78.30. Like that's definitely can be in here today. So we really want to monitor that close. So 87.125. Just putting that back on so you can see where things are. You know, it's that sideways chop. And if it wants to do it, it'll do it. Question is, right? Can we hold on for that 30-minute? Can that 30-minute pull us out of this? Let's look. I don't know. It could definitely happen. Could definitely pull us out. Not the market that we really want to be in. Definitely tell you that. All right, just coming back and looking here. Just sitting and waiting, Anthony says. Okay, solid. Right side of B. Yeah, that's right, Carl. Yep, Luis. Got it, Carlos. S&P in the 30-minute demand. Yep, yep. Trying to play out of that. And we'll just see, you know. Nothing with this trade, this long trade, nothing wrong with this trade. Let's just talk back to Keith. But the timing of what everyone else wants to do, that might be a little off here. That part might be a little off. But we're open to the possibility. And when you see a trade, you have to pull it. You have to pull it. So good, better, ugly. Still gonna write this down in a log, recognize, hey, I was following that macro trend, and it is what it is at that moment. Am I going to change anything? Am I going to run home, cry? No. No, I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to do the exact same thing, actually, come Monday, Tuesday, whatever day that we're going to trade, the exact same thing. The good news is right now that the Russell is starting to rally. The Dow Jones, actually, right now, starting to rally, so cheerlead our Dow Jones, you know. Cheerleading. Everything else is just kind of, I don't know. It's just like really a fight today. Really a fight. This S&P trade is not looking so good, but again, it is what it is. Here's the S&P. I don't think we're going to hold on for that 30-minute. You know, we got a little bounce out of here, but it's not looking like we'll have the continuation. You know, weird things have happened. Like, all of a sudden, things just go woof. Hmm. Yeah, if it goes 1 or 2 more ticks, it'll hit. There it goes.
Order filled.
All right, there it goes. So I can't do anything about it. It's just how that played out. Well, before we end here, not fun, but that's just what happened today. And we'll rally it back a little bit later. You know, the game's not over, but for today it is. You know, 3 strikes and you're out, basically. Later in the week, you know, like next week, I'm just gonna tell you guys, 77.68. That's gonna be a big number here. Okay, for the S&P, 77 like 68 ish. Let's see here. Oops, sorry about that. If the S&P does go down, it's going up into this area. 30 minutes. You know, 30 minutes. It tried to help us, but couldn't do it. You know, Keith, for all I know, my timing was off a little bit, and then it's going to rally from here. Missed that opportunity for the rest of the day. Yeah, but 3 strikes, I'm out. So I got to miss that opportunity now. I'm not going to start over trading. That's the key thing here. 15 minutes. Hey, it is 10 minutes. We tried, you know, worked for a little bit. Just didn't have, that's the key here. Didn't have the follow through. Just didn't have that follow through. It really wanted to, didn't have that follow through. And really, again, the macro trend is up. I like going long, completely fine. The market went down, correct, get long, perfect. And then we just didn't have the fall through, okay? So that's, I am not upset with this trade at all. I'm actually a-okay with it. And we'll just come back later next week and we'll cover those minor losses, you know. It's just like a tuition, or you might even call it like the fee. You might have to pay a little fee or a cover charge to be able to play the game. All right. So this morning, if we go back, I'll end it right here. If we go back to the good old FinViz, you know, very sideways this morning. We were long with the uptrend and it worked and then chopped out. Then a little bit ago was long the S&P chopped out, okay? on the Russell, way up here at the top, tried to go short, but again, we didn't have the follow through. So I'm not getting any follow through on any of the markets. This, as you can see, is going to the downside. Only thing I could say about that is what I said at the beginning of the stream was, hey, we've rallied for a few days now, which is giving that macro uptrend, right? But it does provide the opportunity to the downside. It actually does provide that opportunity. And when we say to the downside, you might even be thinking the like 4-hour kind of chart. Okay. So if it goes down deeper, then that's just setting up for next week. That's what it's really setting up for. It's setting up for next week to go higher. So that's really it. You know, no qualms at all. Got it wrong a few times. A-okay. Really had really good opportunities. If we want to talk about this later, we can in the trading pod for our flagship members. And other than that, let me just check the chat before we go. Okay, let's see here. Solid. There's okay. That looks about perfect there. So hey, if you are gonna trade a little bit later on today, just make sure that you're being very rigid in your rules. You know, make sure it's try to be so easy that anybody can see it. And other than that, I'll give it a few seconds if anyone's gonna write something in the chat. You know, other than that, we'll pretty much bounce out of here. If this does continue to sell off, just let it sell off. Just again, know that the macro trend is up, right? Okay, well, hey, beautiful. It's another day in paradise, and you guys have a happy Friday, and we'll talk to you guys later. Perfect.